Well, hello and welcome to today's Confessions of a Global Changemaker show. I have another extraordinary talent to introduce you to, a man who's very dear to my heart. This is a soul brother from another mother. We have known each other for years and years. We actually were coaches together at an internet business school many years ago. Oh my God, it's got to be like 9 years or something. 2011 was when I started that journey. So it has to be 11 years ago that I met this incredible man. He has transformed so many businesses. I've watched them grow. I've watched them transform. I've watched him transform as he's been transforming the businesses of others. And what a joy and a glow he gets from seeing incredible results of his clients. So if you're looking to really expand your brand and make sure that your products, your services, you are being found on Google, when that person is not able to sleep, when they're up at 4 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning, losing sleep and struggling to sleep because they can't find you, here's how you can make sure that that works. So come and say hello, those of you that are joining us. Hello, hello. I can only see Facebook users, so hello, saying hello to you. If you could pop that, pop your name in there as well, that'll be handy. And when I went live, there should be a link that if you click on that link, you can actually sign in and it will show your name as well. So let me introduce you to this amazing man. I'm very, very excited about digging in today. I mean, he said to me, "You haven't sent me any questions, Sammy. You haven't given me anything." And I'm like, "Nope, that's because we're going to dig deep. We're going to free flow." It's Nikki. Hello. We are going to dig deep and go free flow today. So without further ado, we introduce you to the amazing Google entrepreneur, Mr. Geoff Alexander. Geoff, welcome to today's show.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, thank you, Sammy. All right.
I'm bloody awesome. Even better for seeing you.
You too. You too. Thank you. Thank you for the invite.
Oh,
looking forward to this show too.
Yeah.
Bit of trepidation, but more excitement than trepidation.
You know I don't bite. Well, maybe just a little bit. So let's dig straight in. Geoff, you must have made some corking mistakes. I know I'm going to dig straight in here. I'm going to go straight in because there are so many people that are searching. There are millions of people right now that are searching for a solution that somebody watching this show right now has the answer to. Yeah. So what are the biggest mistakes that you see most people making when, other than being invisible? Obviously, that's a huge mistake. That's not going to help. But what are some of the biggest mistakes you see people making when they want to get found on Google, when they're starting their Google journey?
That's a great question. And where to start is my question to that. But there are so many things really. You do need to pause before you get stuck in to Google, because Google doesn't take any prisoners, and they will take your money if you let them. So you really do need to kind of step back, plan things out, and have a look at what you're really trying to achieve, because every day, or at least every week, I'm seeing people who are losing a lot of money, unfortunately, on their Google spend. A lot of wastage around what they're spending and what they're targeting in terms of keywords. But one of the biggest areas is the keyword research. So I know you've been doing a lot on keyword research yourself and using that to kind of create your content strategy. When you're putting keywords into your Google account, they'll go in by default as what are called broad keywords. And they carry with them a lot of wasted clicks around those keywords. And a lot of people still don't know that. So they're really wasting a lot of money, unfortunately, because they don't have the right keyword strategy.
Yeah, and you have to be focused on what you don't want as what you do want, is what I learned from you very early on, because I was very fortunate that Geoff was one of the coaches with me at the Internet Business School. So I learned a load of stuff from Geoff like 9 years ago. So many things have changed since then. But I remember you saying to me, Sammy, if you're wanting to be found for marketing, make sure that, or branding, make sure that you, when you're setting up your Google ads, make sure that you let it know that if somebody types in instead of just brand strategy, if they type in free brand strategy, you're still going to show up and it's going to munch your clicks. So, you know, just make sure, like, remove the word free. Because if someone types in free and then your keyword, you're still going to pay for that, because there will be people that are searching for free and they'll be searching for other keywords that your phrase becomes part of, that, you know, you're going to pay for that click instead of the customer that you really want to be on the other end of that. So that was a key thing that I learned from you, Geoff. Let's just take an example then. So let's take the last 4 companies that you've been working with on their Google ad strategy. Like, what were they doing wrong when you went in? I mean, were they doing the same thing wrong? Is it like the same thing that happens all the time, or was there something different that they were doing that we can learn from?
Yeah. So let's see. A big B2C client of mine set up quite a few different campaigns around their product categories. And on top of that, we created some what are called brand campaigns to focus on their name, because they're fairly well known. What we also needed to do was put in place, exactly like you just mentioned, some negative keywords, so that they weren't paying over the odds for keywords and key phrases that weren't relevant to them. So whilst they wanted to appear high up in the ads section for their brand terms, they didn't really want to be paying massive amounts for it if it wasn't, you know, their landing pages weren't optimized for that. So that's another key thing that you've got to look at strategically. Your ads, your ad copy, your landing pages, and your keywords, all of those need to be seamless. They need to be really, really ultra consistent, because Google will obviously reward you for that. And again, they built up their campaigns in a very haphazard way. And so there was a lot of bloat around that. And again, I had to kind of interject with negative keywords, and also do some reverse engineering to see what people were actually typing in, to make sure that we were really, you know, maximizing what they were doing online. So keyword strategy again, and good ad copy, and moving with the times. You know, as you said, I was doing Google for a very long time, and I've got the grey hair to prove it.
I don't see one grey hair on your head.
They're there, and a lot has changed. So one of the big things that has also changed is the format for the ads. So it used to be headline and 2 description lines, fairly short. So they used to be, you know, almost square. Now you've got multiple lines, description, text fields, which are much longer. So you have the opportunity to make your ads stretch down the page, and therefore take up a lot more valuable online real estate on the first page. And again, not a lot of people have moved with the times and are really making best use of those expanded text ads, and all the additional extensions that you can now add to it as well. So I think that's really kind of key.
Yeah.
And also when I'm working with local businesses, they need to make sure that they've got their local business entry fully up to date, because you can actually link that to your Google ads now as well. And that will again add an extra extension to the bottom of the ad, and makes it take up more room, and you come across a lot more relevant, because ultimately, especially for the strongest keywords for those businesses, they have the opportunity of appearing at the top in the ads, underneath that in the places section, or the Google Maps section, which actually is sometimes above the ad, and then also in the organic. So if you've got a brand that's appearing 2-3 times on the same page, then the brand uplift of that is going to be magnified exponentially. Right?
Massively renting a space in their head.
Exactly. So, you know, those kind of things are kind of key to bring together, and look at the whole strategy rather than just look at one thing in isolation, which a lot of people unfortunately do.
Right. And Geoff, like, what, I don't know if you'd be able to reveal this answer, but like, what's the most amount of money that when you've gone in and seen what they're doing, what's the most amount of money that a customer has been hemorrhaging because they weren't doing it right?
well, one springs to mind straight away is it's a high street brand, and they had a big fancy digital agency working for them based in Manchester, and they were losing about 2K a month on their spend, which is crazy. Really was. So it's quite eye-opening. Me kind of going through what was happening with their account and just kind of showing them how to improve it. Really, you know, it's not a lot to be gained from bashing people for the sake of it. You know, just show where, you know, we could improve things and then just act on it, right?
Wow. I remember there was once a client that we worked with who, when I had my design agency, where when we went in, the agency that they'd been working with, they were spending, like, I hope you're all sitting down when I give you this figure. This company was spending £47,000 a month with this agency on all kinds of marketing and advertising that was not generating a return on investment. I mean, this company, they were making millions, they were bringing millions in, but imagine how much more their profit could have been if they were investing what they needed to do. We went in, and I think, you know, with a good Google strategy and making sure that they were doing the right things, we just cut out all that crap. And I think we brought their investment down to about £2,500 a month. And I mean, we were still guiding them to work with that same agency. We didn't take the business away. We just said, this is crazy. If you just, like, you need to be advertising on the back of buses. You don't need to be doing this radio advertising. Like, here are some ways you can reach your customers in a direct way very quickly. And you don't, it doesn't have to then be a brand impression. It is an actual, I am clicking because I want this right now.
Yeah.
There are cases where you would absolutely do advertising on the back of the bus, but this wasn't one of them. And so, you know, working with the right strategist, I think, is absolutely critical when it comes to anything like that. Now, you get paid by Google to train their teams. You go into Google, you go into these massive companies to train them how to use their own product. I think that's hilarious.
It's quite cool, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah. So I've frozen there. Gosh, are you still there? Can you hear me?
No, it's okay. You're frozen.
It's all frozen.
Pose. It's a good pose. It was a very, you know, so pose. Very good. You're back.
Like Norman Wisdom. Do you remember Norman Wisdom?
Yes, I do. I'm not that young. So yeah, you get paid by all these big companies. So tell us about some of that. Like, what do they bring you in to do? To train their own staff how to use the product? Wow.
Yeah, it's not so much training Google staff. It's training agencies how to use Google Ads and therefore train their audiences and their customers as well.
Yeah.
So so it's really cool. Sort of kudos attached to that. So I'll kind of be invited along to Google head office, either in Dublin or London, do my presentations to all the agencies that have been invited along, and it's really good. They've got very good structures and very good kind of formats for covering all the different areas that need to be covered, and they have quite a strenuous evaluation criteria as well for all the speakers. So at the end of the event, you get a shortened link. It's put up on the screen. They go to that whilst they're there on the day, and they'll kind of answer the questionnaire. Automatically gets Google Doc automatically gets populated, and there's all kinds of things that they evaluate you on in terms of, you know, whether they feel you knew your subject, whether you delivered it well, whether they feel more equipped to administer Google Ads and run an account for their clients, all sorts of stuff. So it's a good learning experience as well.
Yeah.
So I hope to be doing a lot more of that, you know, going forwards. Actually, this year, as one of their global trainers. So yeah, it's good. It's a nice bit of kudos, isn't it?
I bet when you got that first call to go into Google to deliver something like that, I bet it made your bottom twitch a little bit, didn't it?
Yeah, quite stressful, quite a lot of anxiety there, because, you know, it's Google, right?
Right.
And, Lots of preparation, over prepared, and then just relaxed, to be me, because if you know your subject, then you're ahead of the game, and it's just about how you manage your own personal state and able to relax into it and actually have some fun with it. So I managed to do that, and then some of those agencies become clients as well.
I think that's brilliant, and that's why clearly you are the market leader in what you do. It's why I'm so proud and honored that you are the Google mentor within Brand Builders Club for our members. And so those of you that haven't attended one of Geoff's Momentum Mondays calls, make sure that you do get on Geoff's call, because he delivers a 15-minute power session followed by 45 minutes of asking any question you want to. And so and that happens, is that the
Monday?
Third Monday of the month. Fabulous. And so that's at, you're the evening session, right? Yeah, so you were live last night. Were you live last night?
No, it's last week.
Cool.
Last week I focused on landing pages and the importance of having a decent landing page. Went through best practice and a checklist, things that you need to have on your landing page to make Google happy, and also to maximize your chances of success with
brilliant
the online behavior when people get there.
Fantastic. So Brand Builders, the replay is in the Brand Builders Club group, and the recording will be going up live into the online learning center. So Geoff, let's take a case study, or not necessarily a case study, but one of the viewers that are watching this, where I know what their product is. Let's imagine that you've worked with somebody, because I know you will have done, that's got a similar product. What would your recommendation for their strategy for the victory be? So let's take Nikki Piper, for example. Nikki's watching now, by the looks of it. Nikki has created this most wonderful journal, because she's been a journaler for a long time, and she's used other people's journals, and she's spent a lot of money, testing other journals. And there was not one journal that really sat with her in her heart. And so she thought, well, if I can't find it, I'll just bloody make it. So she's made this incredible journal, of which I'm getting one. So I'm very excited about that. She's bringing a signed journal to the next Brand Builders members weekend in a few weeks. So I'm very excited about that. So she's got a journal, and she's on a mission to get that journal out to the rest of the world. Hi, Philippa. So what would be Nikki's strategy for the victory? I don't know what Nikki has got set up just yet, but let's imagine she doesn't have anything, but she's got a page where people can join the journal, buy the journal. So what would that strategy be for Nikki?
Well, the research has got to be the first thing, really, across three areas of research. One is keywords. And obviously you've got the big obvious keyword, but then you've got to have a look at what relevant keywords are also being searched in tandem with that as well. And it's often very eye-opening, because what you assume, being the champion of the product, are going to be the main search terms or keywords. Actually, you need to go to the market and see what is actually being typed in, and it's often quite eye-opening. And you'll always get ideas as well. So that's the first thing: research to see what's going on today in the marketplace. Also note that if you are promoting a new product that hasn't been around a long time, then the keyword research is going to be a little bit limited, because it's historic. It's based on historic, but it's up to the minute at least. Then you've got to have a look at your competitors, see what they're doing online in terms of researching them and seeing how they're presenting themselves, seeing what kind of copy they're using and what kind of benefits they're promoting in their copy and their text as well. So you need to have a look at both those two things. Then you also need to have a look at the potential cost per click that you're going to have to budget for. And the best way to do that as a starting point is using Google's keyword planner, because they'll give you estimates in terms of both traffic and then expected cost per click as well. So that will help you to quantify a little bit more in terms of the amount of effort that you're going to need to invest into it. It takes a little bit of the guesswork out of it. So I would say start with research first of all, because that will often tell you a lot, and it'll help to guide your steps and your strategies. And it also gives you opportunity to kind of pinpoint certain things about your service and your journal that others might not have. You know, so whatever's unique for yours, you want to kind of be selling that and promoting that above our competition. So I think those are kind of key things to get started with. And remember, you're not trying to beat Google. You're not up against Google. You're up against the competition. But the more savvy you are, and the more resourceful you are in terms of who you've got in your corner, and you knowing what you're doing, the better off you're going to be. So, I make it a point of making sure that all my clients or people I work with are paying at the lower band of the range that they could be paying for each and every one of their keywords. And that's done through a combination of making sure the landing page is consistent with the ad text and also the keywords. So, yeah.
So you mentioned consistency there, Geoff, and I think that's a key thing, because I'd love Nikki to be able to go and like really make this journal amazingly popular. Because there are so many millions of people that are journaling, and even more millions of people that are just coming onto the scene and learning about journaling, or that maybe what they think journaling is not what journaling is at all. And Nikki can, educate them on that. I think one of the things that, it would be good to get your feedback on this, is Nikki currently is producing her journals through lulu.com, which you and I both know of many years. So obviously, if the product's on lulu.com, then how do you have control of that landing page, because it's on their website? I suppose the description and the name that will have something to do with it.
Yeah. So in terms of Lulu, I'm not as familiar with Lulu as perhaps might be with Google or Amazon even. But if they've got some form of analytics to kind of tell you, what's going on with people once they land on your pages, then that will be great. I know it is a bit tricky when you're not in control of the landing page. If someone buys a journal from Lulu, do they come back to? Are they redirected, or is it?
I've got it up on the screen. So Nikki, I hope that you don't mind me sharing this, because I'd love for you to get the learning from it. Like I say, this is all completely unscripted. I just decided that this would be a very cool thing to do in the moment. Putting Geoff on the spot here. Okay, so here is my screen. Hopefully you can see my screen. So this is Nikki's website. So you can go and view the journals, and when you click that, it takes you to lulu.com. So it's all owned by Lulu currently at this moment in time. Now, I don't know, Nikki, my sense would be that they buy a journal and then you get a payout when that product is shipped, for example. I don't know if that's true. If you could just put in the description how that process actually works, that would be helpful, because I haven't sold anything through lulu.com before. What I've done is, if I've needed a mock-up or something, and I only need a one-off, or I only need 10 of them printed, I'm not going to go to a major publisher and get 10 of these books created. Lulu's great. So I've only ever published for myself. I've never really sold anything from them. But so if we go here, so as you can see, this is how Nikki is describing the journal currently. Let's click on more so you can see, what would your first impressions be immediately, Geoff? What would you say?
Okay, it's quite small at the moment, what I can see in terms of text there. But it need to be very keyword rich, and it'll need to have good descriptions and also benefits in there as well. It seems to be quite comprehensive, which is good. the image got an image there. I don't know how clear it is or what kind of definition, but that's important obviously as well. Okay, that's good. Okay, right. Question daily doing. Okay, good. So
I guess what might be better as an image, Nikki, is at the moment, I actually thought that was just an image. I didn't realise that was the cover of it. So what might be nice is to create a graphic where, I don't know if I've got 3D. An example here of one of my books. Let's have a look. 7 Reasons, book cover. So something like this, so it actually looks like a book cover instead of, they're pretty much the same. And that was just pictures of it. But yeah, so get something mocked up, you know, and there are people that can do that. You know, even on Fiverr.com, you know, I don't tend to use Fiverr for branding necessarily, but if I've already got the branding and I just want fancy graphics or something created for it, I think, you know, they're quite good. If we just have a very quick look for you here, let's just go to Fiverr.com, because for those of you that are watching, that, you know, this is how our brains work, right? It's like, okay, so we need a graphic, you know, to see how easy it is. So what do we want? So 3D book cover is probably what I would search for to get that. Here you go, look. So somebody can do that for you for £8.11. They can create a whole thing that makes it look like an entire product. £4. I mean, they've already got these templates. They're set up. They cut and paste. They, you know, they do it each and every day for their whole day. So they do it really, really fast. You know, and look, I mean, that's very cool. So you can actually see it. If you had a product that you wanted to show, you know, it's a book and it's an app. I mean, how cool is that? So yeah, I would just always go to Fiverr to get things like that. So so that's what I would maybe do there. I think that would also...
Nikki's also put down myecover.com as well. So you can actually get some which have set 3D images, which are free as well.
Okay,
they are limited. They are limited. myecover.com. I've used a couple others as well, and they, you know, they can be quite useful.
It's not liking that. myecover. I can't spell today. myecover. myecover.com. Oh, my e-cover maker.
Okay. Yeah, similar thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Fabulous. Okay, some brilliant examples there. So, you know, and getting your reviews, that would be cool as well. You've got
and then also find out a little bit more about the mechanism. You know, if someone goes to Lulu and they type in some of those kind of keywords, you know, around journal, where does your page appear? Where does Nikki's page appear? That'd be kind of good to find out. And you've also got gratitude journal in the headline, so that can be one of your keywords to research as well, to find out whether that's what people are searching for. Certainly daily journal as well, you know, so all of those are going to be routes to finding you. So make sure you've nailed all of those, really.
Wow, some great tips there for you, Nikki. And Nikki said, I'm going to stop sharing for a moment. So Nikki said she doesn't have any control over how or what Lulu show. So, but if you can control any of that wording, then that's definitely a good start. My e-cover maker, yeah, perfect. So, Geoff, thank you for that. That was a little bit off piste, and you handled the challenge beautifully, as I knew you would. So, Geoff, thinking about your journey, aside from Google, thinking about your business journey. I mean, you've been on, just as we all have. You know, sometimes it's been a roller coaster ride, and other times it's been a, you know, gliding. Tell us about like one of those times where, if you could go back to your younger Geoff Alexander and say, mate, like, here's something you're going to go through. Here's how you deal with it. Like, how you dealt with it was not the best way. Here's how if that ever happens to you again, here's how to deal with that. What would one of those things be?
I think the team building side is key. It's quite important. As you know, if you want to scale, you've got to have the right people in place.
Yeah.
And they all got to play their position and really kind of work to perform together kind of really well. So one of the things that I did in the early days was I recruited 5 people, and I rented out a very nice office and luxury office, fishbowl, and I gave everyone detailed job descriptions and thought, they know what to do. I don't need to do anything. They'll get on with it, and they'll do a great job while I'm out doing my networking and presentations and things like that, and meeting. Didn't quite work out like that. So I had one guy that was building a website to nick my customers, and then there was someone else who was using the phone that I was paying for to call a boyfriend in Paris on 3 hours on the phone. And I wasn't happy about that, so I sacked all of them.
I'm happy about that. I think the air would have been blue.
Yeah, and other things as well. So I sacked all of them, which probably was a bit rash, a bit reactive, because they all knew each other, and I gave another one an extra project to do, and he dumped leaflets in the park and all kinds of stuff. So so it was then me rattling around in this office, really nice office, on my own. And then it dawned on me I didn't need to be there. So what I do differently is spend a lot more time selecting the people that I'm working with, and not just use the only factor of price. Yeah, because you get what you pay for, right? And yeah, it was a lesson. It was a lesson. Which I laugh about now, so it was growth. It was just growth. Okay, that's what it was. That's an example.
So how do you build your team now? What's different about the way you're building your team these days?
Yeah, so I've got processes now which are there, and so that helps with the training and the onboarding kind of phase.
So tell us about those processes. We want to break this down. I want detail, Geoff. I want detail.
Yes. So, well, right from the beginning, I've got a list of questions that I ask. So there's the skill-based questions in terms of, are you a good web developer? What are you able to do? Are you familiar with these types of integrations? Give me some examples, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Due diligence. I never say that. Due diligence.
Exactly. But I also got the qualitative side as well now. So I ask about, their goals, what they feel their strengths are, what other people feel their strengths are, their motivations, to get an idea of the person, and what kind of motivates them. Are they the kind of person that's going to be really meticulous about not releasing anything unless it's their best work, or are they someone that just wants to churn the numbers? Yeah, and you're just another one of those kind of people.
Yeah.
So I kind of do that kind of thing a lot more. Also look at what access to resources they have.
Ooh, so that's a good one.
Yeah. So if we're talking about web people, do they have access to stock photos? Are they going to rip off some site and then have someone send you a threatening letter to sue you for using copyright?
I've had that happen. We've had to pay out because one of our designers did that. And I was like, luckily it didn't go further, but yeah. Oh my God, that's a big lesson. That's a big one. Watching this right now, that's a big one.
Yeah. So I mean, these sorts of things, you can't always foresee them, but if you've got the right people in place, then this is going to reduce the occurrence of that, the likelihood of that happening. So, and then I've got flow charts for all the steps that we need to take and follow. So if they're building a website for me, then there's going to be certain things that we need to do. and then we refer back to the ultimate client, and then we'll go through to the next stages and so on. I just got sent some content for someone who's selling supplements, building a website for him. I'm going to be doing some online marketing for him as well. And so, you know, we're making sure that at each stage you know where you're both at, other than you know, the kind of big picture anyway, because otherwise it can get out of control quite easily, as you probably know. And you know, it's just a headache all around, really.
And when it comes to, for the purposes of people watching, because obviously, you know, I've built up an agency, you've built up an agency. I sold my agency because I didn't want staff anymore. I was like, I don't want to have staff. I don't want, you know, I want to work collaboratively with people, but, you know, I don't want people who are just there that are there to do a job. This is something that, you know, there has to be that equal desire for the success of that product or that service. So, Geoff, what are some of your recommendations around those people that are now starting to outsource, that are starting to have a virtual team? What is your recommendation for the way that you pay them? Because obviously you're working with outsourcers quite a bit. You know, so what's your recommendation? What have you seen work really well, and what are you doing?
So there, I guess, are two main ways that you pay outsourcers. Either on the job itself, you know, they produce X object or X content, and you pay them for that, or you pay them by the hour. Both have a place. I do both. And if, for example, if it's a VA or an assistant, then you'll, you know, probably pay by the hour because they're doing lots of support work, admin work, and so on. So if you're going to do pay by hour, Upwork is a good site to go to, because
I like Upwork.
Upwork will track.
I think it was Upwork. Before it became Upwork. What was it? Designer or something?
Odesk, it was called. And
what was the other one? Yeah, I think it was either Odesk or the other one that they ultimately came together. They created Upwork. Was where I met my copywriter many years ago, and now she's the one that we're partnering, and she's turning all the posts that we've written over the last 11 years or whatever it was into books. So you know, these resources are places that you can create great partnerships as well. So so give us a few of those then. So we've got Upwork, and what was the other one? People per hour.
People per hour, yeah. There's Rent-A-Coder and so on, but I tend to use Upwork because of the hourly tracking, so you can actually see what they're doing. It'll automatically take photos of their screen, and it'll give you an indicator from 1 to 10 of how much activity there is. So you won't get charged if there's no activity. Yeah.
And no activity is going to get low reviews. Low reviews means no work. So it's that's a really good point. And the other thing is, you know, especially with the contracts that you're working on, and again, for the benefit of our viewers now, you know, having a service level agreement in place, I think, is very important. So you know, like, what level of service are you expecting? When are you expecting the deliverables? What is your responsibility to provide for that company? Because there's two ways. You know, how often do you go to get something done and you think, yay, I've outsourced it, so and so, they've got it now, and they're then waiting on the other end saying, I need your content, or I need your images, or I need this. It's like, you've got to be as responsible as well. So having service level agreements in place is a good way of protecting both ways as well.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
So Geoff, what's next for you?
Yeah, what's next for me is, well, as you know, it's all been up here, isn't it? All this knowledge and information.
Oh no, what a brain you've got.
Swirling around here. So I've just been in the process of getting it out of my head and onto paper, really, and online. So I've been spending a lot of time on ClickFunnels actually recently to get the framework in place. I've got a lot of the content already. Some of it is going to have to be updated because it's taken a while to get to this point. But you know, I'm kind of foot on the pedal at the moment now. You know, I've been given some great tools and resources and access to people. So you know, just there's no excuse now. It's just about kind of just getting on with it and implementing what I've been doing for people for years. You know, for myself. So so that's kind of really kind of key for me right now. This year is a big year for me. So it's all going to happen this year. So kind of watch this space.
Yes. I'm excited about that. And Geoff is a member of the Brand Builders Club. Geoff, actually, for those brand builders that are on the show right now, are they going to see you? Are they going to get to meet you in person at the members weekend, the 20th to the 22nd of March?
There's a very high chance of that. I'm going to confirm that this week with you. I'd love to be there because it's always great. Always learn so much and great to meet people in person as well. You know, so so,
fabulous. Look forward to seeing you there. And for Nikki's going to be there with her journal, so you'll get to meet each other. Geoff, is there something that that you can point people to? Do you have some kind of lead magnet or something that is a good giveaway, or is there anything that you'd like to give to the people watching this now that they can go and take their next step, or maybe find out a bit more about you?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think my funnel isn't live yet. It will be though within a week. So I would suggest that you connect with me on LinkedIn or follow me on Instagram and just say hello, and I'll make sure that you are kept up to speed and in the loop.
Awesome. I take it you're on Facebook as well, because that's how I communicate with you. So,
yes, of course, yeah.
Because we're going live via most of the Facebook channels now, so people watching now will probably be contacting you via Facebook. Geoff, thank you so much for your time. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for coming to join us today. And I would just advise, if you are not connected to this great man already, like the last 11 years of my life have been so much richer for having him in it, and I suggest that you make that connection with him. Geoff, just congratulations on your journey, and I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud to know you, and I'm proud to continue playing and making a massive difference. And we must talk, because I got a shizazzle loads of stuff that's just about to come up, and Google's going to need to know about it. So you'll be getting a call. Let's talk at the members weekend. Let's make sure we've got some time together.
Definitely. Thank you, Sammy. You take care, okay?
Awesome. Take care. See you later. And I'll be back tomorrow. Who have we got on tomorrow's show? Let me just go and have a little dig around. We have the amazing Wendy York. So if you're thinking of publishing, Wendy is your go-to girl. But what she's really here to do is to uncover some of her publishing nightmares and her publishing secrets that she has. So if you're publishing content, whether it's a book, whether it's a lead magnet, any of the things that we've talked about tonight, if you're going to start getting your content out there in a bigger way, make sure you're here live at 5 tomorrow so that we can continue this conversation, get you out there and build that brand you want to see in the world. So take care, have an amazing evening, and I will look forward to seeing you either in the House Builder Brand Group or in Brand Builders Club. Mwah! Thanks, Geoff. See ya.
See ya. Bye-bye.